Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Homeowners Association meeting this evening. I'm Deputy Director Mike White. It's good to see. If you can all hear me, can you kind of wave if you can hear me loud and clear? Okay, good, good, awesome, awesome. So, since we've got so many of you, the way we've set it up is the mics by default are muted. But when we come to question and answer, what'll happen is you'll raise your hand or ask a question in chat, then I'll go unmute and you can have the floor and ask anyone the question you want to ask. So I'll go through kind of who we have in the session. So we've got our chairwoman and CEO Janice Van Ness. She is going to be on the Zoom call. We've also got our Director of Government Affairs Jennifer Rutledge. She's joining us. Our Chief Operating Officer Sue Sanders. She is on the Zoom session as well. We've also got several department representatives that are. We've got Brian Kelly with the Department of Transportation. We've also got Director Terrence Simpkins, Deputy Kabad Johnson with Stormwater. They're with us. We've also got Christine Carney, the Director of Parks and Recreation, that will be able to answer some parks questions. From the Tax Assessor's Office, we've got Deputy Max Terry. We've also got Siobhan White. They are both going to be on the Zoom call as well. And as far as other departments, let's see, we've got transportation or water resources, of course. We got the great, the legend. I see him in the window there. Richard Davis. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Yeah, it's good to see you. He is with us today from Water Resources, and we are going to be chatting with him. And we've also got one of the general managers, Danita Burton, with Water Resources as well. She's also on the call. So if you have questions for them, they'll be able to answer those questions. We were originally wanting to do breakout sessions, breakout rooms. We were wanting to do the breakout rooms. The chairwoman mentioned that. We were having some technical snafus with that, especially as far as getting everything recorded, because with the breakout rooms, we can't get everything recorded and on record. So we were working all the way up to the last second to try to make that perfect, but unfortunately, we just were not able to. So we're going to keep everybody together. So we're all just going to be one big happy group through this process. But originally, and maybe in the future, we'll go to doing the breakout rooms. But for tonight, we're just going to keep everybody in one spot. Keep in mind again that this is being recorded. So if you miss anything or if you have to leave and you want to know how it ends, you can always come back and watch it later. We will have that available to all of the citizens. So I will allow the department heads to just kind of introduce themselves first. Obviously, I want to introduce Richard Davis with Water Resources, because Water Resources has recently made a significant upgrade. So Mr. Davis, I just clicked the unmute button on your Zoom session, so you should be able to see that. And go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Davis. I'm the General Manager of Infrastructure of Rockdale Water Resources. And I thank everyone for being here this evening. And any questions that you may have, towards Rockdale Water Resources, I'll be here to answer that question. And we also have the General Manager for Customer Service. She is here as well. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Danita Burton.
We can.
And she'll be available for any questions as well.
So I just unmuted Danita. I believe it's Berto D on the screen.
Yeah.
So you should be unmuted if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulties as far as like showing my face, but my name is Danita Burton. I'm the new General Manager of Customer Care and Business Affairs. I'm happy to be in Rockdale County. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm here and ready to answer any issues that you may have or address any issues.
That is awesome. Thank you very much, Danita. Thank you very much. So that's our Water Resources team. I'm also asking to unmute the great Brian Kelly, our Director of Transportation, if he would like to introduce himself. Director Kelly, go right ahead and go ahead and start.
Good evening. My name is Brian Kelly. I'm the Director of Transportation for Rockdale County. Been here almost four going into 5 years. So very pleased with what we have going on as far as projects. It's a lot going on in Rockdale, and pleased to be here with you tonight to answer any questions that you might have on anything transportation, bridge, infrastructure related in Rockdale.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Director Kelly. We have also got already lined up the Max Terry. He's the Deputy Director of the Tax Assessor's Office. That's one reason we're having this Homeowners Association meeting. I know a lot of you are wanting to talk about the property tax assessments. So Deputy Terry, go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Max Terry. I am the Deputy Chief Appraiser for Rockdale County Board of Assessors. Joining me this evening is Siobhan White, who's our General Manager. We appreciate this opportunity to be here and provide information regarding the recently revised Notice of Assessment. Some of you may have questions about that, resulting from the Senate Bill 566, or to answer questions concerning property values, appeals process, exemptions, and any other matters related to Rockdale County Board of Assessors Office. I would like to thank Chair Van Ness for allowing us to participate, and we look forward to answering any questions you may have this evening.
Thank you, Deputy Terry. I appreciate that. And I just went to the chair's login and clicked the unmute button for her. I'm sure you would like to hear an introduction from her. So Chair Van Ness, if you are on the Zoom session, we would love to hear your introduction, ma'am. Oh, the suspense.
Hi.
Hi, Madam Chair.
Good evening. I just wanted to welcome everyone tonight. Thank you for your patience as we overcome a couple of things for technical issues. But, you know, we in the past have had great success with our virtual meetings, and we felt like this would be a way to reach a lot of the people who work during the day and are just getting home and trying to get dinner. We hope this will be another mechanism for us to be able to provide more outreach and connect with more of the homeowners associations. So tonight I did mention to Deputy Director White that it would be great if you're representing your homeowners association. Normally we have a sign-in, but if you just want to put in the chat your name and the homeowners association you're representing, we will match that against our checklist so that we can keep up and make sure we have the most updated information. We know sometimes elections take place and we don't necessarily get the new people on the list, but we definitely are trying to be mindful of that and do a great job of connecting with the homeowners associations in the community. Over the last couple of weeks, I've spoken to some of the homeowners associations and had great feedback and information that was requested of us so that we could help them in the neighborhoods. A lot of the questions that I get at HOAs meetings is really about our code enforcement, also ongoing activities in the community with our Parks and Recreation Department and things of that nature. But we are certainly here to help in the community. And I see a lot of familiar people out there, Kirk Lofton, Brentwood, our friends over at New Lake Estates. Good evening, Ron. Course, Charlotte at Fieldstone Community. So thanks everybody for being here tonight. We appreciate your willingness to come together. Hi, Bill from Deer Run and Tammy from Annsbrook. Again, this is what makes our community great, is us all coming together. So we hope tonight will be a wise use of your time that will provide information that's helpful. And before the evening's over, we do want to talk about some upcoming Parks and Recreation events. As well as our America 250 and our July 3rd fireworks event that will be in the city of Conyers. And then, of course, our Veterans Day Parade. So thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yes, we're very excited about all those events, partnering with the city of Conyers for Red, White, and Boom. Hard to believe we're almost at the 4th of July. 2026 has just been flying by. So a lot of you in the chat, I've got our programs manager in public relations, Janetta Owen. She's with me. She's monitoring the chat window. A lot of you have wondered why the microphones are muted. We do that so that way we never have the situation of people talking over each other. So when we do questions and answers, you can type a question in the chat or raise your hand when it's time to do questions. And that way I'll just click the unmute button. You'll have the floor and you can ask your question. So it's just a matter of that way we don't have the risk of a lot of background noise going on over the Zoom feed. So that's why we do it that way. So we're going to start with the tax assessors. Again, we wanted to do breakout rooms, but we were just having too many technical issues getting all of that to work with the microphones and the recordings. So maybe in a future session we'll do that. But tonight we're going to keep everybody together. But I'm going to hand the floor over to Max Terry and Siobhan White with the tax assessor's office, and they will be around to discuss some of the assessments that you've gotten in the mail recently. Deputy Terry?
Yes, I guess most of you know recently, May 29th, we sent out the notice of assessments, and most of you are probably noticing there was a change from previous years to what they look like now. That's due to House Bill 566, which passed this year, which they only allowed us to put the prior year value, current year value, and a list of the eligible exemptions and credits, and the total estimated tax savings from those. That's the majority of the implication of that bill, Senate Bill 566. If you have any questions about, your appeal, the last day to appeal is July 13th. If you have a question about, your property taxes, I can give you information on where you can do the tax estimator at the Rockdale Tax Commissioner's Office website. Also, if you have questions about exemptions, homestead exemptions, or anything related to that, anything related to the matters of the Rockdale County Board of Assessors Office, I'll be happy to address those for you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Deputy Terry. Next, I want to have we want to talk right now. We want to talk to Brian Kelly, the Director of Transportation. And Director Kelly, can you tell us a little bit about some of the ongoing projects that you are currently working on across the county? A lot of people are concerned about the roadways, and so I'm going to go ahead and hand the floor to you so you can discuss that in a little more detail.
Get it.
Director Kelly, we're having a little trouble hearing you. Are you there, sir?
Can you hear me?
I cannot. Yes, I can hear you. Go right ahead, sir.
All right. So pardon me. So of course, everyone knows about the major projects we have going on that include Kersey Parkway, Salem Road widening, and the I-20 138 interchange that's being done by GDOT. Those three, excuse me, are in combination with GDOT. Those are major projects. We also have several resurfacings going on. We have completed the SPLOST 5A, which is a full depth reclamation that's fully replacing the roads. That's just been completed. We also have completed 5C, which is the north side of I-20. That's roads like Farmer Road was fully replaced. Several roads like that have been fully replaced. And we are just getting ready to contract out 5B, which is on the south side. And we have a list of roads there as well I can get into that would include Troop Smith is a good example of that, and there are several others that we're working on for roads. I can give you the whole list, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. But we have lots going on, lots of road projects, resurfacings, replacing roads. So I'm here to answer any questions that you guys might have on that. We also have a resurfacing for subdivisions as well, and we have several major roads that have just been done. One of them that you probably have seen, Ebenezer Road on the south side, right in front of the Johnson Park, is an example of a major route on the south side that's just been completed as well. So,
thank you, Director Kelly. Thank you very much. And I know you'll be on standby for questions. I do want to talk. I want to bring back in Mr. Davis with the Water Resources Department. And Mr. Davis, if you could talk. Let me go ahead and unmute your microphone. I want to talk specifically about the new portal and the big changes that have been going on with that. We last week, me and your Deputy Director Von Jameson, we were able to push out a mass email about this portal change. Can you tell the citizens a little bit more about what that is exactly?
Okay, I'll be glad to. Ms. Biden, do you want to do it or do you want me to do it for you?
I just unmuted Miss Burton if she would like to take the floor and answer.
Sure, I can do it. So last week we did launch our new customer service portal, Silverblaze. Pretty much Silverblaze is designed to provide a more faster and easier convenient way for our customer. With Silverblaze, we have several great features. One of the features is the customer is now able to set up leak alerts to help identify unusual usage. You're also able to go in and look at your water usage history and track your consumption. Also, you're able to apply for service online, do disconnect services. You're also able to make payments. Silverblaze is available 24/7. We will be adding more features as time progresses, but I think initially the biggest thing is the leak alerts. So you're able to sign up for text messaging. And then at some point, we're also going to look to possibly do something as far as like robocalls to help customers like save money and just get ahead of any surprise usage that may come ahead.
Thank you very much, Ms. Burton. Thank you. I appreciate you chiming in for that. I know a lot of people already in our chat are lining up with questions, and we'll get to those in just a second. But I just saw popping in was our deputy director, our director of stormwater, and our deputy director, Director Simpkins and Deputy Johnson. I want to welcome them and ask them to introduce themselves here in our chat. So, Director Simpkins, we'll start with you, sir. I just unmuted your mic. Go right ahead.
All right, how you doing? Good evening. My name is Director Terrence Simpkins. I'm director of the Stormwater Management Department. We deal with the management of all runoff in Rockdale County. We also deal with infrastructure within the public right-of-way in Rockdale County. I have my deputy director on the line.
Yeah, Deputy Johnson, I just unmuted your mic. You can go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Good evening. This is Kabar Johnson. I'm Deputy Director for Stormwater Management Department. And I support my director, Terrence Simpkins, and whatever's handed down from the chairwoman and the Board of Commissioners for the infrastructure of your stormwater.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction.
Um,
So I want to tell you before we start the Q&A, I want to tell you guys some really exciting things that are going to be happening around the county. One is since working in the public relations department, I've heard this from a lot of citizens, and I'm sure some of you in this Zoom session feel the same way. They'll say, "I didn't know about something, or I didn't know about this, I didn't know about that, some meeting. I didn't see the Facebook post, I didn't see the calendar," and we've taken that feedback seriously. And one thing that we are going to be pushing toward, and you may have seen it in the last Board of Commission meeting, and it's going to be coming up in the next one, is we're wanting to launch a non-emergency based texting system so that we'll be able to reach citizens automatically via text message. Now, you'll be able to opt out of that if you don't want it, but we'll be able to contact the citizens about homeowners association meetings, about Board of Commission meetings, planning commission meetings, recs for transportation, issues with water resources, if there's a burst pipe, and you'll be able to even subscribe to subsections for those different departments. So we're very excited about that, and we really think it's going to add to the transparency that the county's really been pushing for, and we couldn't be happier about that. The other thing that we're really working on, that we're expecting to see by the end of the summer, is we're going to have our first ever Rockdale County Community Magazine. That was something that I know the chair talked about a little bit during the State of the County, and we could not be happier that that's going to become a reality in August. So Rockdale County is going to have its own community magazine, a twice a year publication, which is going to be a wonderful way to reach the citizens of Rockdale County and be able to tell your story. So those are just two really exciting things on the horizon. In addition to all the America 250 celebrations with Red, White, and Boom, our partnership with City of Conyers. That's going to be coming up a week from Friday night, July 3rd at 6. Cannot wait for that. And the concert series with Parks and Rec is also ongoing. Christine Carney, our director of Parks and Recreation, she will be joining us later this evening, and she'll talk a little bit more about that. So we will start with the questions. Let's dive right in. And Janetta, who's the first one? That's going to be Of the participants that are in session right now, the 82, if you have a question, can you do the hand raise, react, and I'll unmute your microphone. Okay. All right. Miss Morales. Miss Morales. All right, you are good, ma'am. You're on. Oh, you need to unmute, ma'am. There you go.
Okay, I did it. Hey, everybody. My name is Jocelyn, and I was trying to ask Charlotte in a private message if she represented Fieldstone Estates. I have an issue at Fieldstone Estates that I wanted to address with the BOC.
Okay, I'm unmuting Charlotte right now. So Charlotte, you should get the unmute mic request and you should be able to respond.
Thank you.
Charlotte, you there? Not now. Sure. That might not have been her. I do not. I asked her to unmute the mic, and now she's vanished from the chat.
She had to get a drink of water.
Maybe so. Maybe so. But I do have a question for the tax assessors.
Well, maybe I could ask.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Jocelyn. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say we had
Mr. Kelly, Mr. Brian Kelly. I wanted to address an issue in Fieldstone Estates. I live at 2344 Fieldstone Estates, Fieldstone Drive, excuse me, Fieldstone Drive. And we have an issue with people speeding up and down Fieldstone Drive in the end of the area where it intersects Flat Shoals Road. There are numerous accidents since I've lived there since '86. There have been 2 or 3 accidents. One that was almost detrimental to the people around Fieldstone Estates. Well, it kind of was. It knocked down a power pole, sent a woman flying over the hill and into the ravine next to my house. I addressed putting speed bumps in the area. And now that Salem Road is being constructed on, it is very dangerous in front of my house. It's almost as if I were living on 138. And I don't know how to go about getting those speed bumps assessed to see if we can actually have them put into our neighborhood. The other parts of the neighborhood have them. It's just in our area, it's fun for some people, I suppose, to jump the hill or come down the hill. But I always am hearing people speeding up the hill, coming down the hill. My neighbors can't put their children outside because of the traffic that comes through there when they cut through from Salem Road all the way over to Flat Shoals Road. So that's just a concern I have, and I wanted to address it and see if maybe there was something that we could resolve. Hello?
Director Kelly, do you want to respond?
Okay, now I'm unmuted here. Yes, so we do have a speed hump petition that's a process we go through for any subdivision where there's criteria that you guys would have to go out and gather and meet, and there's a standard for that. And then what would happen, we would have analysis done on that road or that subdivision and the roads that you are looking at having speed humps included on to see if traffic calming would work. And there are various types of measures that you could go through, whether it's speed humps, whether it's tables that are a little bit higher. And that study will tell us what would work best. And it does depend on the speed of the road, travel of the public, driving conditions, all of that, angles, depths, you have it. So we go through that whole process and then we look at what is best, and we recommend that to the Board of Commissioners, and once they bless it, we move forward with installing what ever that study has come through with. So that's how that's typically done. That's how that process is done. So what you would do is you would go to our website. We have a transportation website. Those that form is on our transportation website, and it's under speed hump policy and request. You could go through, fill that out. That would uh, get the ball rolling on that portion. So we know we have gathered all the information. I believe there's a threshold of like 80% or for the subdivision or something like that. There's something specific that's in the bylaws that we have to follow. So that's the process. For immediate, if you're dealing with immediate issues, because that process does take a little while, because you have that traffic study, then you have an engineering process to see where those speed tables, speed humps would go, and then going through and find a contractor to install that. That process can be lengthy. For immediate relief, the Rockdale County Sheriff or Conyers Police would be your immediate right now, tonight type of response, because we can't do anything immediate. We would have to go through and do the research to see what fits best based off the speed, the elevation, the angle of those roads. So that's the best answer I can give you right now.
That was perfect. I appreciate that. I'm going to go there tonight and pull that information off the website. And I appreciate you, Mr. Kelly. Thank you very much, y'all. I have to go, but that's just something I wanted to address, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jocelyn. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, ma'am. We
Yes,
have a
sir.
question for the tax assessor's office, so I will I'll unmute Deputy Terry. And the question was, what is it called prior to the Board of Equalization agreement with the assessors for a lower assessment? So let me unmute Deputy Terry so he can talk about that. Go ahead, sir.
If you're talking about like an agreement between the tax assessor and the taxpayer, or are you talking about
yeah, the question said, what is it called prior to Board of Equalization? Agreement with the assessors for a lower assessment. That's the way the question was written.
okay. That would be like, you have first step, you have to file an appeal. And then the assessor's office, we will have, the appraisers will go out and review the property, and they'll make a decision on whether they can maybe adjust it or not. And if we come to an agreement with the taxpayer, we will send you what is called a waiver. And what that does, if the value gets lowered, that waiver will be signed by you and then signed by the chief appraiser. And what that does is that locks in your value for the current year, which would be, if you did it for this year, which would be for 2026, and then 2 additional years. So it would be for 27 and 28. So it's called a waiver.
Thank you, Deputy Terry. We appreciate that. Anyone want to ask a question? Just go ahead and raise your hand and I will unmute your microphone and you can go right ahead. Okay. Just says iPhone. So you are unmuted. iPhone 158. Are you there, sir or ma'am? Okay, you should be unmuted. Go right ahead.
Who is that, me?
Yes, you're
Charlotte
on.
Booker?
Thank you, ma'am. Go right ahead.
All I want to know is why can't we get street lights on this end of Rockdale County? I've been asking about that for years and years and years. It's dark once you get to a part of 138. You can't see anything. I mean, it's pitch black. And there's no reason why it should be that dark on this end of the street of the county.
Are you on the north end, ma'am, or the south end?
I am on the south end.
Okay, I just unmuted Director Kelly if he wants to answer about that, sir. Go ahead.
So there are various segments. So if you're looking at 138, that's a GDOT route where they would have to implement those lights. We do lights here as well, and we work with our power agencies. You have Snap and Shows, you have Walton EMC, and you have Georgia Power, depending on where your home is located within Rockdale County. We work with those three agencies to get lights set up on if it's your residential street, for example, or any of those routes. If it's 138, you need to go to GDOT, or 138, 212, 162, which is Salem Road, 155. Those are all GDOT routes. You'd have to coordinate with them, and they would likely go with Georgia Power, but that would be a GDOT request, as they own, operate, and maintain those specific routes. Okay. Now,
That's all fine and well, but I'm trying to talk to the people that are politicians in my county that we voted for you guys to get into those positions. And I don't see anybody doing anything to try to help the citizens on this end of the county when it comes to being street lights. I've been asking for years, and I, as a citizen, really and truly should be able to bring that to the people that are in charge in my county and have you guys to do something to help us get that done.
Madam Chair is unmuted if she wants to respond.
Yes, I'd be glad to add that. So I know at a previous meeting that we talked about road striping for the white and the yellow lights. I don't remember the street lights being mentioned off 138, because I would have told you that that is a state highway, and that would have been handled differently.
No, you have heard that from me before, because you said that before. And I understand that, but I'm looking at the people that we put in office here to help us get that done. We, as citizens alone, can't get that done. But if you guys are in charge and you guys wanted these positions, not just you, Janice, you know, I'm not just talking to you, but if we helped get these people elected in our county, then they need to get up and get something done for the citizens. It is pitch black down here. Can't even see.
So I know that I relayed the communication about the striping that we talked about at a previous meeting. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the lights for 138 being the question, but I know that Director Kelly has been working on several projects throughout the county. So I'm not sure if those lights are included or not, but those would actually go to the state Georgia Department of Transportation. And we communicate with them, and Paul Denard is the person that is for our area. But I will say, please don't think that we're the only ones that can communicate with them. Citizens also frequently communicate with them. And in fact, our representative for our district, Dana Lemons, was out in the community just a couple of weeks ago, working collaboratively on the project to extend the entrance ramp from 138 onto I-20. And so that was a very effective response. And there were citizens and ourselves, Director Kelly, of course, and everybody kind of came together. And it was a very important key project because it was so dangerous. So please don't think that it's just, elected officials that do all the work. Citizens certainly have been such a great asset in this community and letting their voice be heard. So we definitely can check into that for the lights in that area. And specifically, if you have a distance, let's say that you said from the kids down to the end of 138, they would do a traffic review of that area and look at that. So I can, of course, Director Brian Kelly is online, so I'm sure that he hears you as well tonight. Thank you.
I'm not pointing the finger at any one person, not at all, because I do understand that it's a collaborative thing.
Right.
However, when we go in that poll and we cast those votes, we do that so you guys can help us get things done. And as a citizen, I've lived here for what? I was born and raised in Rockdale County, so it's not like I'm just coming in. But what I'm saying is that when we choose the people that we elect here, we expect you guys, not just you, Janice, but we expect everybody to get together and help us get those things done. It's not a citizen's person that should be doing this, but we elect you guys to do these kind of things. And so I don't know why you don't remember that, because we've had a long discussion about that more than once. And even before you got into position, I had that same argument, but everybody seems to keep passing the buck. It's this person's job, it's that person's job, it's this person's idea. You guys get together and do that. We aren't getting paid as elected officials. You guys are. So you guys need to listen to the citizens, and I'm one of them, to get something done.
Well, I did try and call you today, so you'll see my number on your phone from earlier attempt. But I hear you, and I will share that with Director Kelly and see if it's already on his list. I don't know. I can't speak to that, but um, we do have a good relationship with the Georgia Department of Transportation, so we will do our best.
And ma'am, thank you for your question and concern. We appreciate it. I know our Chief Operating Officer in the chat just put in a spot where you can the citizen portal. There's a link to the citizen portal where you could submit a request for broken street light. So that option is there in the chat if you want to go and take a look. Let's see. The next person that has their hand up is Ron. Ron, if you're there, your microphone should be open.
Thank you. I'm Ron Williams from New Lake Estates, and we have 3 streets that feeds into Alexander Lake Road. That's the only way we can get in and out between Highway 155 and the, I guess it's Flat Rock down at State Park. The road is very bad shape. Potholes. Someone mentioned earlier about the yellow striping with the reflectors. Since they paved that, all of those are pretty much up. If anybody know, Alexander Lake Road is very curvy. The issue also is, I guess, trees that lines that road need to be cut back, because especially during the winter, when we have ice, it knocks down trees. During the summer, if we have high winds, there's an issue also. But going up and down certain parts of that road, Alexander Lake Road, is trees, debris that's kind of coming out onto the road. So I'm not sure what the process is to get someone to come out and assess the road and also cut back trees that's kind of coming onto the road. Now, to be fair, we have called before. Someone has come out, cut back certain portions of it, but the whole road needs to be assessed and need those trees and stuff cut back. I'm not sure. I think Panola State Park, I'm not sure if they own most of that side of the road, but need someone to come out and assess the road. And it really needs repaving. I think it might have been repaved back in maybe 2017, 18. Whoever contracted that job did not do a very good job, because at this point, it shouldn't be cracking and potholes and all of that at this point right now. So not sure. Usually we just call and someone will say they'll send someone out, but I'm not sure if there's a better process. So if we can help with that, would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. So, as Mr. Ron, is it?
Yes. Yes.
All right. We definitely have we usually send those by email. We have an email maintenance request. So for the trees, for example, and the road review, if you would put that in, we have a Rockdale Road maintenance request, and if I'll put that in the chat for you. Send that request out. I'll have my inspectors go check out the trees and the road, look at any potholes, for example, that we can take care of and patch. Trees that need to be, if they're leading into the right of way, we'll get those taken care of. That's just a maintenance request. So I'll put that in the chat for you. And if you wouldn't mind pulling that email out of the chat, and putting that request in, we'll get somebody out as soon as we can, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for your question. Just joining us in the Zoom session is the sheriff of Rockdale County, Eric Levitt. I'm going to unmute his microphone, Sheriff Levitt, if you'd like to say hi to everybody. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. May take him a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. As been introduced, I'm Eric Levin. I'm the sheriff of Rockdale County, and just hearing about the, excuse me, the this HOA meeting. So I'm glad that the commissioner chairwoman has hosted this to hear any and all of your concerns. If there's anything that I, as a sheriff of Rockdale County, can do for you in public safety wise, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office, and I'll if you don't catch this information, hopefully the county will put it in the chat. But the direct office line number is 770-278-8104. That's direct line. You wouldn't have to go through any recordings and prompts. It'll take you directly to my office and to my floor to me, and they'll take information down and I can return calls. Please understand that when calling any of us, it could take us a few days to get back with you. And also you can reach out to me by email is eric.levitt@rockdalecountyga.gov. That's eric.levitt, LEVETT @rockdalecountyga.gov.
Thank you, Sheriff Levitt. Thank you very much. We appreciate that, sir.
Yes, sir.
And the chairwoman just put that information in the chat as well, of ways that you can reach Sheriff Levitt, which makes it very easy. So please skim through that. Next question is from Cheryl Garcia. I just unmuted your microphone, and you have the floor, ma'am. Oh, Miss Garcia, you have to hit the unmute button on your microphone now.
Okay, I think I'm there. Yeah, thank you very much, Mike, and also thank you very much, Chairwoman Van Ness, for restarting this Rockdale Coalition of Homeowners Association, because we definitely need it. I have two questions. One is for the assessor. Our property tax, I do a lot in the community, and some of our elderly residents they want to appeal their property value, but they don't want to do it online, or they can't do it online. And my understanding is that they have to come down to your office to pick up a form to do so. Is there any way that form can be placed online without actually going through the process of filing your appeal?
Appeal form is
I'm sorry.
appeal form. If they want to appeal, the form is on our website, the BOA at rockdalecountyga.gov. You should be able to access the form there. And if they can also, if they want to email it to us, they could do that as well, so they don't have to make a trip up here. They can email it to the Board of Assessors, and we'll get it that way.
And if they email your office, then your office will send it to them?
But if they can't get the form by going to the website, if they want to email me directly, my email is max.terry@Rockdale County. I'll put it in the message, and I will make sure that they get one.
Okay. All right, fine. Thank you. And some time ago, this actually is for code enforcement, but I don't think they're there. So perhaps Mike and Madam Chair can address it, or at least push it forward. Some time ago, there was an announcement that code enforcement had an initiative to visit every subdivision and I know there's a lot of subdivisions in Rockdale County, but we haven't heard anything more about that. Has that initiative started? And if so, how far along are they? Because we have issues in our subdivision, and our covenants are not mandatory, and so we have some issues. I know that I report a lot of issues when we notice them when we ride around, but it would be helpful if code enforcement would come without, they would be more proactive rather than reactive. So do you know anything about that initiative? And
I
Madam Chair.
do. Yes, thank you, Cheryl.
thank
I
you.
appreciate the opportunity to answer this question because it is something that we have definitely been trying to work towards, not just being reactive, but also moving towards being proactive. And so we have not fully kicked off that plan, but we really like the idea of having some type of signs that would be available for communities so that people know ahead of time. We'd love for it to be motivation for those that may have infractions to go ahead and address those concerns. We in Rockdale County, we don't enjoy writing citations because it does take a lot of our time away from other important projects. We do that when we can't find resolution. And so to keep a beautiful community, it's something that's just part of the process. And I will say that we have worked with magistrate court to increase the number of days for hearings. And we're looking at other options too, as well in Rockdale County, as far as even maybe an administrative counsel to hire some of the lower lying offenses, if you will. But we would prefer, like you mentioned earlier, about people working to keep their community clean and beautiful, trash properly disposed of, and that kind of thing. But we understand too that, like many communities across the country, we are a melting pot in our community. Some people have moved from urban areas and they've had, county provided or city provided trash service, which is a question that I sometimes see online, like, why doesn't the county provide trash service? Well, you may have heard the old adage of it's hard for county government to provide things more efficiently than the private sector. And then also we know that the private sector and competition is a healthy thing, and it helps drive down the cost of providing services and things like that. But in reality, we have had a challenge with one company that had some issues, and then trash was left for a couple weeks. And we did work on our end internally to try and address that and find resolution. And it was an opportunity for another company to really step in and gain more business. And I understand they provided great service. And at the end of the day, that competition has worked out well for most of the people in Rockdale County. So that would be an example of us working behind the scenes, trying to make the community better, making sure people are responsible homeowners and taking care of their land. So with that being said, we hope to be able to reach more subdivisions in a proactive manner. Right now, there are the number of code officers we have are working hard every day addressing things. But I will say, in all fairness, it feels like we do the same thing all the time and we don't make as much traction as I would like to see. So when somebody gets a citation, it can be a lengthy process. And so we're looking for ways to make it more efficient, speed it up, and allow for us to serve more of the county in a proactive manner. But yes, that is a project that we hope to see more impact from in the near future.
Okay. Thank you so very much. I appreciate
welcome.
that.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Here's a question that's on our chat. And this says, happy Monday. Can sanitation be deployed to collect the growing mound of dumped tires on Iris Drive,
Yes.
right of way parallel to I-20 eastbound? Madam Chair?
Yes, I can answer that. And Kelly, thank you for that question. I appreciate it. So I know that several people have seen they've probably heard of the challenges in DeKalb County where people were arrested for doing tire dumping. And I know in Rockdale, which is just next door, that we've had a challenge with some of those same areas. And so I will tell you, of course, code enforcement's been involved. And at this point, they also have gotten help from the Department of Natural Resources, who also has jurisdiction. And then they've been working with the property owners, which is where the responsibility lies. Don't necessarily think that's fair, but it is how the system works. And so they are working in a collaborative spirit with code enforcement, the Department of Natural Resources, and property owner to get that addressed. And we are working also to encourage that criminal charges be brought as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
Next question comes from Leslie Williams with the Castle Point Homeowners Association. I just clicked for you to unmute your microphone, Ms. Williams, and you can go ahead and talk. Ms. Williams, are you there? Madam Chair, can you hear Leslie Williams? No, I can't hear her. We'll come back to her. And okay, so Kirkland Lofton. Kirkland Lofton, if you'll unmute your microphone, you're good to go.
Yes, I have a question for Director Kelly. What is the process that we need to go through to if we had a speeder come around in our neighborhood and had an accident and knocked down one of the signs, the street signs, and it's still laying there, and I'd like to get it put back up. So what is the process for that?
That is a maintenance request, sir. So street signs that are leaning, been hit, or anything of that damaged, that's a maintenance request. I did put the maintenance request
Yeah, I have that.
in the
Yeah, I
chat.
have it.
My team will usually come out within 24 to 48 hours, depending on what's going on, and get those stood back up or replaced, fully replaced. That's a request that we do. So please get that to us, and we'll take care of that for you.
Okay. All right. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Lofton. Thank you, sir. Next question is from Walter Bannister. Walter Bannister, you can unmute your mic and go right ahead, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for seeing my hand up. Hold up, let me take it down. Okay. This question, I've actually posed this question in a town hall meeting, and I don't know whether it's appropriate to discuss it in this meeting, but it's regarding tax revenue, and it may be going to the Board of Assessors. But and I'm not here to oppose nor in favor of data centers, but my question is, could there be a financial chart or slide generated and presented to the county on any proposed tax revenue that is going to be generated from the clients of the future data center or data centers that's here in the county in regarding to the taxes that's possibly going to the school, taxes going to M&O, taxes going to the tax revenue going to the sheriff department. How would that tax revenue be distributed? And when those charts are actually generated, will it have any information in there regarding possibly lowering the balloon tax rate that happened? And I understand this is way before the current administration in 2024, when taxes were increased by 40%. So the main question is, could there be a financial chart or slide presented, and maybe this presented to the community in a Board of Commissioners meeting, a finance meeting, or a town hall meeting, proposed tax revenue that's going to be, how it's going to be distributed and handled for the revenue that's generated, the seven-figure generation of revenue from the data centers that's proposed to come here in Rockdale County. And that's all I have. Just the answer, please. Or Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Walter. I know that we have had that chart at some different meetings, and what we've looked at has really been one for the first data center, and that was the tax abatements that the Development Authority approved and what those numbers really look like. If I get my hands on that tonight, I'll be glad to put it up for you. But if not, I can send it to you as well. Those revenues would be distributed to both the school system and the county. So the city, the location of the data center is not in the city. So it would just be between the school system and the county. Right now, we are looking at our budget. We're about to have budget hearings, which allows the directors to come in, present their budget, why they need what they need, what their requests are, and all those things. And it's a really good time for citizens to be involved with that so that they can see where their money is going. I am very fiscally conservative, so we've taken the monies that we expect to come to the county. And yes, we are looking at ways that we can financially impact our millage rate and help citizens have a more affordable rate. And that coupled with, we've seen the trend right now that the market is kind of flat across the country in many, many areas. And so we see that trend, it's going to carry forward and be a little bit lower. So many of you may have seen a little bit of a dip in your assessed value, but please know that right now this board has been very much focused on reducing the tax obligation for our citizens and businesses. We are working and would love to, right now, we want the city to join us on an intergovernmental agreement that would allow for us to ask for the FLOST, which is, it would allow us to add a penny at the sales register. Many of you may have heard about this. That 1% then can come back and be dedicated to homeowners and businesses to reduce the millage rate and be dedicated for maintenance and operations. So that's what we're working on right now actively. And so for that to be on the ballot, we would have to have that in place by July 15th. So be looking for that topic at both the city council meeting and the county meeting. And then that ballot question would go on the November ballot. And the question it's the general. So let me remind you of a couple of things. It would be on the November general ballot. That means every single person is going to see the very same question. Sometimes that, I know at a couple of the meetings, people said, well, we should be able to vote on this or that before commissioners decide. The data centers was one thing. There may be development projects that would be others. There is no way for us to do that with all our citizens in the community. We've researched some different options, but I will say that the ballot can be helpful, but there are limitations on what you can do. So you can only put a question on the November ballot if it is, I'm trying to think of the word. We just talked actually with the election supervisor today, Cynthia Willingham, about timing for all this. And Sue, I'm going to ask you to join in because you were with me this morning talking about this very issue. What was the word that Supervisor Willingham used today? All right. So she might not be available right now, but she'll join us, I'm sure, in a minute.
Okay, there we go.
But anyway, so those ballots. Oh, is she on there?
Chief Sanders, if you're there, your mic should be available.
Okay. It wasn't letting me unmute.
You're on, ma'am.
Okay.
So can you go over the qualifying question for the ballot for me that we talked about with the supervisor this morning?
I don't recall the exact wording that she said, but talking about like people asking about putting data centers on the ballot or something of that nature, but that's not appropriate. And she was going to send us the actual wording and what we can and can't do. that we can get that out, but we cannot
Okay.
put those type of questions on there.
Yeah. So the primary ballot parties can put questions, and those are called straw polls. So those questions are not binding. And that's the word I was looking for. I'm sorry, Chief Sanders. So in November, those are binding questions that action would be taken on. For the primary, which is typically in May, that is where the party can ask a question, and it does not have any binding obligation. So, for instance, I think in 2022, maybe there was a straw poll question about the courthouse, and that question, or one issue, but it was very different the way it was phrased on the Republican ballot versus the Democratic ballot. So, the Democrat ballot. So, anyway. But November is what we're looking at for the FLOST. And so we will work on that, and you should hear more about it in July from both the city and the county.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Chief Sanders. We've had some questions wanting to ask secondary questions. We will come back. Everyone who's asked a question before, we will let you ask another one after we get the other people in line. So we're going to go to Leslie. She's the one that we tried before. Leslie Williams with Castle Point Homeowners Association. Leslie, you want to try this time?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you this time.
Thank you. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for making this meeting virtual. I really appreciate it. It's given me the opportunity to join. A lot of great information has been shared and a lot of good questions asked as well.
Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome. I'm the Castle Point HOA president. The community has been around, I would say, for about 13, 14 years. Our community is relatively small. We have about 14 homes in Castle Point. It's a one-way in, one-way out. Over the years, the road has gotten extremely bad. In Castle Point, we have received delay after delay, and it keeps getting pushed back. I did send an email to Brian Kelly, and I copied several leaders on that email looking for an update on Castle Point. And I did receive an email back from Brian Kelly, so thank you, Brian, for responding to my email. But I have a question. I'm trying to understand the response. What was shared with me is that there was soil testing done on the Castle Point street, and I'm guessing the results was varying subsurface conditions. But what I'm trying to understand so that I can communicate back to the community, what does that mean in terms of getting our roads repaved? And I would love to hear a timeline or receive via email a timeline so that I can set expectations with the community. Again, this has been going on for quite some time. We've, had this before this audience in terms of leadership with Rockdale and trying to get our one street paved. And there is a reservoir that goes over the street that has a terrible dip that we cross every day when we come in and out of our community. There's no other way for us to leave or even come in to our homes in the community, and it's just getting worse over time. So I would love to get some definitive answers in terms of when we can expect to get our street paved.
Okay, so let me check on that with Director Kelly. Director Kelly, you should be unmuted. Go ahead, sir.
All right. So, Ms. Williams, thank you for coming on again. Yes, you did get a response, and so I can give you a little color to that response. We did do some analysis, some sampling. Rockdale has a unique combination of subsurface issues. Rock on one side, that north side, south side is a very challenging clay mixture. So what we're dealing with now, and we've dealt with it on most of our projects on the south side, is once we get in there, we test, we have to understand the quality of that soil, what it is, so we can actually treat it properly. As you mentioned, you have a a drainage area in the middle of your road I just put in the chat box actually is on the list to be resurfaced. I know there's a Castle Point court from Klondike to the end, and there's a little typo in there that mentions Business Drive. Please disregard that. But the road, we did do analysis. We went back to make sure what was underneath was what we were dealing with. We saw in some other roads that after we opened it up, the variation from clay to a sand was a problem. So we can't put uh, certain types of asphalt and expect that road to hold load, to hold a car, a truck, a Amazon truck. We have to then treat the soil underneath. So it goes from just being a simple resurfacing project to an actual partial excavation and replacement of that sub base, not just the top layer of asphalt. And unfortunately, I think what we're dealing with Castle Point is exactly that. The high points where the cul-de-sac is probably will be dry. Once we open it up, it'll be good soil. But that dip, it's showing characteristics of subsurface soil that's going to be a little bit of a challenge to deal with. So that made us, you guys were on the list, that made us punt and back up and try to reevaluate how to deal with that specific portion of your road. So instead of going in there, opening it up, and having it be a slurry mess that we can't put asphalt on, we need to come back and reevaluate that plan so we can come back and give you a road that will last you 15 to 20 years.
Okay, so I do understand. Thank you for those details, Mr. Kelly. But I think what I'm looking for, in addition to the information that you shared, is timing.
So again, with that, you guys were originally pretty high on the list. We bumped you back a little bit so we can come back and treat those roads separately. You will see my contractor come out with some traffic signs to let you guys know to start shifting your cars off that road. I expect you to get that within the next 2 weeks. So you'll have timing on when we can, depending on the weather, of course, because if it's raining, it kind of challenges. We can't really open up the road, especially in that condition already. But depending on the weather, I would say first couple weeks in July, at the latest, you'll start to see signs coming up telling your people not to park on the road, on the street. You'll see paint markings, for example, on where we're marking problem areas that we need to address and deal with. So that should be coming pretty quickly.
Okay, so Mr. Kelly, I don't want to monopolize the call, but I do want to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of timing. So the email response that I received from you was on June the 9th, and in that email it did say coming weeks. And so if I'm hearing you correctly on this call, you're saying the first part of July?
Yeah, that's still in line. Yeah.
Okay. So we should see some activity by what, no later than July?
I'm trying to ballpark it for you.
Okay.
So middle of July, you should see something going on.
Okay, something going on. Okay.
Yeah. And that, I mean, you'll probably see guys with signs, guys paint marking, stuff like that.
Okay. Thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
Leslie. Thank you very much. Next question is going to be from iPhone 158. iPhone 158. What it says. iPhone 158. If you're there. iPhone 158. iPhone 158 going once. Twice. Okay, we will go to Ann Sapp. Ann Sapp, if you're, go right ahead, ma'am. Oh, we can't hear you, Ann. We can't hear you. Audio is not coming through. Can anyone else hear Ann? Okay. Ann, go out, try to come back in, and we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you again. We'll come back to you again. All right, let's try one more time. iPhone 158. iPhone 158. iPhone 158. iPhone 158 needs to unmute their mic. Okay. All right. Let's go to Kenya. Kenya, if you're there, unmute your microphone, and you should have the floor. Kenya, you got to unmute your microphone. I can see you. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me? See me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I live off of Farmer Road, and I have three questions that I've always wanted to ask since living here about trash cleanup, a blind drive sign, and speed bumps. So I wanted to say I really appreciate the county coming by, going down Farmer Road and picking up the trash. I remember when I first moved here, I was out there myself every week with large contractor bags, and it got dangerous because people would drive too closely to me. So I do go out there myself and pick up the trash along Farmer Road, like from the corner of Irving Bridge and Farmer, about two houses past my neighbors' homes. But I can't do it all the time, and the trash is constant. I noticed that the county is not there as much as they used to be. What is the schedule for trash pickup, or do we need to request additional trash pickup along the streets? That's the first one. The second one is I have a blind drive coming out of my home, and I think I had that question answered. You told someone else, is that a maintenance request to request a blind drive sign? That's my second question. And the last one deals with speed bumps. Similar to some of the other speakers, people race down the road pretty quickly all the time. And a couple of times there were some skid outs very close to my fence. And if you know how the corner that my house is, if you've seen it on the corner of Irving Bridge and Farmer, once you take that left off of Irving Bridge, I have a white picket fence, and I have seen cars racing down, especially during wet weather, and skid awfully close to the ditch next to the fence. So can we ask for speed bumps? So those are my three questions.
And Kenya, I wanted to comment on that for a minute. I did put the sheriff's information in the chat. I would also encourage you to send an email to him and let him know about that area so he can let his different rank and file know about the issue at hand, and also the officers that are patrolling. That would help. I do know that we've had ongoing challenges with cars that make loud noises and speeding and things like that. And I think that's a very important thing for us to communicate to the sheriff so he can do maybe additional training for officers, and let's bring more awareness to that. But signage certainly can be one of those things that possibly we could work in a collaborative way. Not about your drive, not about your blind drive. We can, I'm sure transportation can talk to you about that, but really just about maybe an education piece, whether it's through the newspaper, social media, and those kind of things, about the noise from the cars and excessive speeding as well. I think it's a good point.
Understood. And I saw the information in the chat, so I'll use that. Would I use that for the speed bumps and for and what about the trash? Who do I talk to about that?
No. That for the speed bumps, that would be Director Kelly. And it's Brian, BRIAN .Kelly, KELLEY. Make sure that EY at rockdalecountyga.gov. And I'll put that in the chat for everybody to have.
And then how often can we have more trash cleanup along Farmer Road? It gets pretty excessive. I picked up.
We don't schedule that like in zones per se. They do have regular schedules of different items. They don't just do trash pickup in Rockdale County. They also deal with a lot of other things, including deer and those kind of things. So their job is more extensive than just the trash. So if there's a call or something like that, you could send it to us and we will get it to the right person in our community improvement team. Yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Corey
Thank you.
Brown.
Corey Brown? Okay. And that's
Yes.
Corey?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Dot Brown.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenya.
So I'd like to add on to that. We will definitely take a look at Farmer. As you know, Farmer just was one of the roads that just got completed. I don't know if you've picked up on that one.
I did.
So typically, unfortunately, a side effect of a brand new surface is speed. And I believe the subsequent speed for Farmer is 45. I wanna say. And
Yes.
typically we have to look at other measures. Speed humps and speed tables at 45 cause other problems. Sometimes that makes vehicles go airborne. So speed humps with that speed, and that's why I try to be very, very upfront. It definitely depends on the speed, the angle, the curvature of the road, because you don't put speed humps or tables in curves, because that could also, at a lower speed, can send cars airborne. That's another issue that we would not want to introduce on a road that's just been fully surfaced and a road that, so we have to look at other options, and that's why Chair Van Ness is exactly right. The sheriff would be your first option, and then we have to look at other options to try to control speed. In this instance, on a 45 mile per hour road, just being very honest, I would not recommend speed humps because that would cause other issues.
Okay, I understand that. And I was taking notes as you all were talking. Can you tell me one more time? Is it David Brown or Corey Brown?
Corey
is the
Brown.
person
He
I would go
works.
to?
So Corey Brown is part of Rockdale DOT. He is the CIT field manager. So he does. We do that in zones, and there's not a set pattern. It's is as they get those calls that come in. So you heard the maintenance request for email. There's an email. Please check the chat. That can go in the maintenance request. Corey will get out as soon. He's very on top, very responsive, on top of the ball. Chair Van Ness reaches out to him a lot for specific stuff. He's an excellent pillar of the community. He's very good with getting out there and taking care of those issues. So feel free to send that in.
Thank you. I'm just taking my note here. So that's for my blind drive sign that I want to ask for, and for trash. And for the signs that have been, a couple of people have run into signs that are right there in front of my.
That's a maintenance request.
Home. Okay, I'll make sure to take care of that.
Email to the maintenance request email.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you, Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to try again. Let's try again with iPhone 158-101-580.
I'm like, oh my God, all this noise.
iPhone 158-101-580. Let's try Ann Sapp again. Okay, Ms. Sapp, try to unmute the mic and. Yes, it's working. Go right ahead.
Okay. My question is for Chair Van Ness in regards to the data centers. I'm a 26-year resident and Lake Capri Homeowner Association member. And at the Planning Commission meeting on the 18th, we were told that data centers will no longer be an allowed use in Rockdale. However, Article 1.6 in our UGA provides a loophole that would allow projects that are already
That's the end of it.
to continue after the moratorium. Are you still there?
I am.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Go ahead and continue.
And all the data center language was removed from the UGA, which would have provided some protection for us from the effects of the data centers. So now we're kind of stuck with these projects in our backyards and feel like we have no protection. And so the DRI report stated that Project Rockforge wasn't even aligned with the applicable established suburb growth policy, and the recommendations which emphasize the importance of preserving single-family neighborhoods with appropriate infill development. And it also said the project's destructive impact on several streams is not supportive of regional environmental policy. So this project's going to negatively impact the 10,000 surrounding homes and the environment. So my question to you is, will you heed the DRI report and try to put a stop to these projects, or are they going to be allowed to continue after the moratorium is over?
Okay. What I can tell you is that, of course, I do my research, not just in Georgia, not just in our nearby communities, but I think I've mentioned in the meetings before that I've been to Northern Virginia, which is a hub for a lot of the original data centers. Of course, they've been through the whole trials and tribulations of a lot of information that has been ever changing in the data center world. The ones that we have right now, as you know, were approved back in 2023. And so, we do have one that's already been constructed and is in operation. And so we've talked about everything from the incentives that were given by the Development Authority for a new business in the community. At meetings, we've also talked about proposals for different kinds of ordinances and things of that nature. Right now, we're under the hearing process, which is an ongoing process. And I know that Thursday night was the Planning Commission who heard it. I do want to take this opportunity to share some of the news that I found out today. I know that we had expected a very large crowd. So, of course, we opened the auditorium for, more accessibility for people to attend. I do think that there was a question about people coming in. And I think that because of the weather that night was pretty awful, that the way that it was segmented was that people who were going to speak went into the assembly hall, people who weren't going to speak went into the other building, and that was so people wouldn't have to walk back and forth in the downpour or monsoon is what I felt like it was during that meeting. So, but of course we tried to provide audio and sound and all those things. So my understanding is many people that signed up were able to be heard. They extended the time, but it was limited because that is how the process works. Now, Thursday night, we'll have our meeting for the BOC. And so we will have a process again as that hearing goes forth that we will hear from people. So we also take written comments as well and add to the record. But I will say that we're doing our research. And so I've heard a lot of the same comments from citizens. So we have people on both sides of the gamut. We will listen to those. There won't be a vote on Thursday night, so that's not going to happen until later. But we have a lot of different options as to what we do now. We'll continue looking at that research. But I will say, Ann, there is a lot of misinformation out there about what specifically we have in Rockdale County. Our attempt at the data center meeting did not clearly get all of that communicated. There's still opportunities, I think, in Rockdale for us to educate people about what's here in our community and make sure that none of these mistruths, like hundreds of thousands of gallons of water a day and things like that are just simply not true, that those rumors get dispelled. So, but Thursday night, I invite people to come out. It will be at 6:00. It will be at the Assembly Hall. And again, if needed, we will have overflow available if needed for the crowd. So,
what will the time limit be on Thursday? Will we get 3 minutes to speak, or will there be
right now we're probably, I have not looked at the full agenda for Thursday night, but I do know that we will have a time limit for the night. We spent 4.5 hours on the data centers already. And I think I heard a lot that was open opportunities to speak. And so we did not limit that, but we were there 4.5 hours. And so that was a good precursor opportunity for us to hear from the public. But there will be a time limit for Thursday night.
So the UDO, when will that actually be voted on by the BOC?
So it's scheduled for, I think Jennifer Rutledge has that date, but I do know that we have the moratorium in place, as you know, till September 8th. So
Right.
I would have to look at that next date, but I think it's in July is what comes to mind.
Okay.
So.
Would there be any chance of extending the public comment period for the UDO? Because we just got the new version on Friday the 12th. And as you know, it's over a 400-page document. There's a lot to go through and just
Oh, I know. Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
we feel like, it would be beneficial if we could have more time to review it and comment on it rather than.
Yeah, I think somebody asked me, I've had a couple people email and ask till 2027. That's not going to be possible. Certainly request and the reality of businesses here in Rockdale County and there being a balance of, some measure is important. Please know this all started in 2023. And I think because we invited people to a data center meeting is why we've had this outpouring of interest. But this process and everything, we even pulled meetings that went on and the community members nearby that area were invited in the audience. And so we looked and there was not the contention that we see now. We're glad to have people involved. We just want to make sure that we are having productive conversations that will end up with some action items. And I feel like you would probably agree with that being the opportunity of having some productive conversations. So, yeah. So we will see you guys on Thursday night too, if you're able to come.
Just a follow-up comment. I think the reason you're seeing so much contention now is because people are just now finding out about it. A lot of people didn't even know what was happening over here. And we're just now finding out and waking up to what's going on. So that's why, we feel like it would be beneficial to have more time for public comment because a lot of people are just now finding out.
Well, but again, 2023 to now is a long time period. And so we felt like by bringing this to light and a more public opportunity, we were doing a good thing. Didn't feel very good that night because certainly like any human being, we want to be able to have productive meetings. We want to spend our time wisely. And 4.5 hours was invested in hearing from the people. Every single person that signed up got to speak that night. So I feel like we've done a lot of that work. We also take into consideration those emails that were sent to us as well.
So will more time be allowed to comment on the UDO or?
Will the who?
Will more time be allowed to comment on the UDO or is it going to be pushed through to the BOC and voted on soon?
We'll look at the agenda for the night and see. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Sapp. Thank you very much. Let's see. I'm going to try again. iPhone 158-101-580.
We can move on, Mike.
Okay.
I think you've given that person enough chances to.
I wanted to believe, Madam Chair. I wanted to believe I could.
I know.
Get them on. Okay. Let's go to Nat's phone. Nat's phone. So I'm assuming the name is Nat.
Yes.
Okay, Nat, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm representing Caroline subdivision. Our subdivision has became unsafe. We've had the police out a few times because of a neighbor keeping a disorderly house. Charging people to come for a pool party, blocking the street. They park cars on both sides of the street. So when homeowners come home, they can't even drive down the street to their home. I've had people park in my driveway, my parking pad. I've called the police and also called a tow truck. The tow truck driver wasn't able to tow the vehicle because the police officer would not sign off for him to tow the vehicle that was parked in my yard. So I have an issue when we call, we're told to call the police and do a report. But when we call, they come drive through the neighborhood and they leave. We've had shootings, a lot of stuff. And I've been here for almost 19 years and I've never had an issue like that. So I need to know, as far as Rockdale becoming safe, because at this point I may just need to, I pay a lot of tax, a lot of property tax. So at this point, I'm looking, maybe I need to be moving out of Rockdale County. So we need some things done in Caroline subdivision.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair, are you there? We may have lost Madam Chair. But Nat, thank you for your comments, and that it'll, because this is being recorded. I mean, it'll be public record that you felt this way about your subdivision in your area. So thank you very much for your comment. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next, let's go to Horace. Horace, if you're available, unmute your mic and you can go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I have a couple of questions. One is, what is the current status of the legislation that's limiting rentals and I guess Airbnbs to less than 5% in residential communities? And when is it expected to take into effect? So for example, within our subdivision, we have one company that has developed 20, at least 99 homes in the subdivision. So there's 20% of rental that's within our community. And what we would like to know that if the company sells its properties in the future, will the new owner be required to comply with the 5% rental cap, or would that property be grandfathered under the previous rule? That's the first question. Second question is also solicitation activity has been increasing within our subdivision, even though we have a no trespassing and no solicitation signs that are clearly posted before entering into our subdivision. What can the county do to assist in addressing and enforcing issues related to solicitors in our community? And the last one is, if a developer's permit expired, would they be assessed under the new 35% if they want to continue with development? Thank you.
Thank you, Horace. Madam Chair should be back.
Okay.
I am back.
Okay.
Okay. So let me start with Nat's question. So I'm sorry that one bad actor ruins the subdivision, and sometimes that happens, but we definitely in code enforcement want to try and handle it, that case. And so if you will reach out, I'll put my email in the chat, and I'd love to learn more about it. I will tell you that, let's say that if you knew that your neighbor had a house on Airbnb or VRBO, you can call their 800 number for them, and they will take your complaint. They also can make sure that person that owns the house, sometimes they can have them contacted immediately. They also can take them out of their rental program, which may be something you're interested in doing. So there are effective measures that you can take yourself and have firsthand information, which is really important for any of those online programs. And I do know about the program you're talking about for pools. They also, I would think, would take complaints as a neighbor. So I would encourage you to find out where they're listed on and see if they do have an 800 number you can reach out to. Now, in Rockdale County, we have worked to legitimize the process. If they do have a program a home that's an Airbnb or VRBO, or any of the other platforms, they do have to register those homes in Rockdale County. And so there is an application permit. And so as long as they're in the correct zoning, and if they're in a HOA, they should have approval for it as well. In HOA typically cannot just blindly say, no, we're not going to have that Airbnb or long-term rental. You can't just say no to that unless it's in your covenant. So be aware of that as well. But right now, our ordinance that's in place does have certain specifics about what those requirements are that you must meet. And we have certainly had a number of approved short-term stays approved here in Rockdale County. So it's a good start to legitimizing that process and making sure they have the appropriate zoning and follow the correct rules for safety in Rockdale County. And Horace, can you, I think you had another question that I'd like to answer. Can you restate the question for me, please?
Horace, I unmuted your mic. Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, Commissioner, regarding the 5%, I know you and we talked last year, and you also mentioned that moving forward, I guess new subdivisions or rentals, there would be a cap of 5%. Could you provide a status or an update on that in reference to when will it be when will it go into effect, or do you have any additional information on that?
Are you talking about the local ordinance in place?
Yes, the local ordinance.
For new subdivisions?
Yes.
It is in place. So if you feel like there's more than that, you could send it to our code enforcement division.
Okay.
All right. Is there anyone else with any questions?
Before we go to the next question, Madam Chair, Director Kelly wanted to comment about paving of roads. Director Kelly, I just unmuted your microphone if you want to speak to that issue.
So thank you very much. Real quick, I see there are some questions, and typically there are some questions about paving of subdivision roads. I know I put the list in the chat that goes over the main arterials. That was done because of the condition of the roads and the amount of cars on those main arterials. So for the SPLOS, we attacked the main arterial roads for this round of SPLOS to bring some of those roads up from complete failure to actually functional. The same way we rate those roads, we also rate the subdivision roads. For example, I see there's a question about River Club Drive. That road, we have gone through a recent revised and updated rating. We do that every 4 to 5 years. We do have a new rating for River Club. That drive was rated for about 4 to 5 years of life left on that road. We are showing signs of some roads that are at 0, meaning they have completely failed, whether that be a sub-base issue, a subsoil issue like we talked about earlier tonight. Roads with those type of conditions would get priority because of that sub-base failure. So I want to make sure that people understand how those roads are rated. Not that we're trying to neglect your road, but if your road has 4 years of life left, that road with 0 and has a base failure will definitely be done first. Prime example would be that Castle Point that we talked about in the middle of the road. There's showing a base failure that may be an issue. The roads like that are going to take priority. So just making sure that people understand that when we look at the paving jobs, we're looking at the conditions of the road, that top layer, that underneath layer, and we're rating that as we're looking at the life of the project and seeing what's left on the road and if we can salvage anything to extend that life for you. Okay. So thank you guys for just letting me drop that in the call there.
Thank you, Director Kelly. Next question is from EW. EW is the name. If you want to unmute your microphone, and you can go ahead and have the floor.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, great. I have a question. It's a traffic question. I don't know if there's anyone on here that can answer that, but my subdivision is located across from the Mr. Car Wash and the Target area on Highway 20, and I think it's Miller Chapel. But it is a hot intersection for accidents. And I want to know what is being done to kind of prevent that if it would be like no turn on red. There have been some kind of construction where we've seen more dividers in the road to try to slow some of the oncoming traffic, I guess, but not the particular intersection at the top of the hill. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the actual street. But if anyone can speak to that, I'm interested to hear if anything is planned.
Director Kelly or Madam Chair?
Yes, so I'll definitely speak to that one. On 138, and you're talking about the target right there on 138. I know there's a couple subdivisions right across from there, and there's several connections right there. On 138, you will see some timing adjustments that are related to the main project at I-20 and 138 that will cascade down. But right now, we do not have any new lights or anything going in. Everything's kind of focused on that main project because you'll have some tweaks or changes to the lights that all feed that interchange going onto the interstate. We have, as you did mention, we have put in some a few medians. We've taken out some left turns, making cars go as far as U-turns that are a little bit safer. So you'll see stuff like that that might happen, but that is done in coordination with GDOT as 138 is a GDOT road. Typically, we'll go in and we'll design a U-turn that we think will eliminate left turns and which is a safer uh uh left turns are typically a dangerous turn. It causes T-bones, and they're very dangerous. So sometimes we take those out, and we put in U-turns instead. So that's if anything, you see anything in the future, it'll probably be related to those two things. Okay.
Thank you, Director Kelly. Thank you very much. Let's see, next question. It just says Zoom user. This is Zoom user. But I'm unmuting your microphone if you would like to ask a question.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much. My name is Kimberly Johnson, and I live in the Parks of Stonecrest community in Conyers. And it's a pretty large community. We have 859 homes. And the development started about 2006, 2005. So it's been around for about 20 years. And December 31st of 2025, our covenant stated that the developer was supposed to hand over the HOA to the homeowners. However, um, he has refused to do so. And like I said, this development has been around for 20 years. There have been several developers, but this last one, of course, is the one who is over our CC&Rs. You know, he's been assigned that, you know, because they can assign anybody to whom they want as long once they, you know, have the covenants, the board of directors, so on and so forth. And as a result, we've had to now take this developer to court. And it's I just, you know, and as homeowners, everybody is enraged about this. However, everybody, we have still been paying our HOA dues. This particular developer, they collect over $1.2 million from our subdivision. And it's as though, you know, it's this unchecked authority that they believe they have. And and we feel somewhat helpless. And that's why now we're waiting to go to court. And I just need to know, you know, what can our, you know, representatives do to help us, you know, along these lines, because I really just don't understand how it was allowed for a developer to have that type of financial control over a community for 20 years. And like I said, it's been so many different developers. But again, it is in the CC&Rs. And I just think, you know, it's egregious. It is truly egregious for somebody to have their hands in the pockets of a community and they don't even live here. And you know, and now we're going to court and they're so arrogant when we try to talk to them, it's terrible. And so I'm reaching out to our representatives because, I'm at a loss, and I've been going around knocking on, I've knocked on every single door in my community with the help of some other homeowners, 859 doors. I started doing it in 2024. And so now, we're just fed up. And so I really need to know, Miss Van Ness, what she can do for us, how she can help us, point us in the direction, what can be done to help us in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. So, I did not remember that you had that many homes down at Parks at Stonecrest. How many of those are in Rockdale County?
In Rockdale County, we have, I know, because I am in the Rockdale County side, we have 77 homes over here on our side. And you're right, the rest are in DeKalb County. They do, and there's another little small pocket, but I know over here we have 77 homes that are in Rockdale County. But yes, that's how big this community is.
Yeah, and I probably didn't recognize that because I'm aware of, roughly what we had in Rockdale. So the lots that are remaining, are they in Rockdale or in DeKalb?
The lots that are remaining, they are in Rockdale County. There's only 44 lots that are remaining at this time. So they say.
Okay. And the developer's name that has them now is who?
Well, we know them as Green River Builders, but when we looked it up online, it looks as I'm not sure if they went through bankruptcy or something else. There's another Florida developer now that's building.
I think they did. Yeah. Yeah, I think that they've sold to another company. And so I do know the person that used to own that. I know who they are. Let me say that. I know who they are. But they've sold. And so I'm sure that makes this situation even more challenging. But I would be glad to learn more about that. We also have another subdivision in a similar situation in Rockdale County. And that is a little bit more challenging because of just the way it was handled into like a zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. And so it is very challenging. I did want to see if I could share the screen, if Director White, if you could possibly, I'm sending you a request to share my screen.
Okay.
I want to show you an organization that I think would be beneficial to many of you. Let's see, where did I put it? I think this is it. Okay. Let's see if we can see this.
I see it on my screen, Madam Chair.
I can see it.
Okay. So Tammy Schaller from Annsbrook shared this with me, and I think it's a great organization. I'd be interested to know how many of you actually are members of this organization, because it looks like, a lot of times there's strength in numbers. And so if we can have more people involved in that association, they might have some very good wisdom to share that would allow for, more collaboration between our different HOAs in Rockdale County. So that was a thought that I had. We're still looking for a legal entity to come and address the board. I know that we had Natasha Cameron come last year sometime, and she spoke. She is part of a HOA management company. But this organization seems to get good reviews and has a lot of information. I would also think that not only do they do a lot of lobbying at the Capitol, I would imagine they were probably pretty active with the new legislation for HOAs. And so I would just encourage you to check out this website and see if it can be beneficial for you. But I definitely hear your frustration. I did want to let you know as well about Senate Bill 406, and that would be the organizations where you register and things like that. for some HOAs, it's been like, wait a minute, we feel like we're the ones getting punished. And I don't, I'm not sure how that legislation exactly came to fruition, but definitely something all of you need to be aware of. And we're keeping an eye on things. Are they still in session today, Jennifer?
They're still in there right now.
So I know that the General Assembly is still in session, and I'm going to give you information if you ever want to follow any of the legislation that's going on. If you go to legis, legis .ga.gov, and I'll put it in the chat, that is a great way for you to stay involved at the state level with the work that's being done. And oftentimes people are a little confused about the process because it can be confusing. But I know that Jennifer Rutledge with our Government Affairs Division, she actually has been watching online for all the session breakouts. They have committee meetings and things like that. But this type of company absolutely would be a help to many of you who feel a little lost with your HOA, frustrated. I bet this association has heard your story probably several times over in the state of Georgia. So that may help in some way support the efforts of what your organization is doing. I had thought I would have a speaker, but it looks like it's going to be delayed a little bit, a legal professional that can come out and talk to the HOAs so that we can kind of get closer to spending our dollars wisely on legal representation. I know that's a huge financial burden. So if you have a great legal representative or attorney that you have really found success with, I would love as HOAs for y'all to be kind enough to share that on this chat. And we will gather that information and be able to share it at a future meeting with everybody, unless they want to grab it off the page today. So.
Right. Thank you so much. I mean, the information that you've shared is, definitely I will make sure that I take it back with to all of our homeowners, and we're definitely going to look into this organization. But I believe we have. So, but one of the things, my next question that I would like to ask is, when we have like developers, such as like I said, in our community who have, abused their authority or something of that nature. I know it's a business, so on and so forth. And I know municipalities need, to partner with these businesses. But is there anything that you do when you find out that they have been just really bad business partners with the community? Do you continue to allow them to do business within Rockdale County?
I honestly prefer not to do business. I'll give you a good example of something that we were able to do years ago. In 2010, I used to be on the board from 2006 to 2014 as a part-time commissioner. And so we had a subdivision that was before us, and that subdivision, they wanted more density, and so they kept sending us information about how much they do in the community. So we said, provide letters, and all their letters were from Walton County about all the things they did in Walton County. And I said, well, that doesn't help us over here. And so then we talked about other things with them, and what we were able to do was actually find success by looking at the prior work they had done, where they had some unfinished work, they had poor quality for some of the front porches, things like that. And we were actually able to have them commit to a higher standard of fencing in their community and other things that really improved what they were going to deliver as a product. And then we also talked to them about unfinished work at a prior subdivision. And my understanding was they did fix some of those things as well. So yeah, we don't want any bad actors here in Rockdale County, and we are looking to make sure that people fulfill their commitment. In subdivisions, they already have bonds for their roads that they put in and things like that. But they do have a time frame. And, unfortunately, sometimes that time frame just runs out, and then that's when the problems start. So it's unfortunate. But we are trying to make everything better day by day. And this huge undertaking of rewriting our unified development ordinances is a massive project that our planning and development office has committed to. We also did have a consultant for part of that journey, but we finished it with them and felt like we got enough work from them, but it wasn't quite like we wanted it in the finished product. So our staff has been working overtime to try and get that finished. Certainly, we've had more than 13 public meetings. We've made avenues for written comments as well as in-person comments. We've really tried to be diligent about encouraging participation. And so now what you'll see is our staff presenting the Unified Development Ordinances, and we will have a hearing this Thursday at 6 o'clock. So if you have time to come out, we'll be there, and we would love to, have more people that are able to come and share information with us.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to talk. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for a couple more. Let's go to
Hello,
Janice
Turner. This is Jennifer.
Jenkins. Janice Jenkins, if you're there, you can unmute your microphone.
Good. How are you?
Hi. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I live in the Irwin Place subdivision off of 138 and with Miller's Chapel and serve on the HOA board. We've been working, I'm piggybacking off of the previous speaker. We've been working for over a year. We've seen so many horrifying accidents at that intersection, even today. Today there was another horrible accident at that intersection. I've been working directly with the Georgia Department of Transportation. I have a ticket number, and I call every day and leave a message for Kevin Cool, who's the contact person for this ticket number, and to get no callback. We've had at least 8 accidents at that intersection. Even one of your own police officers had a bad accident there. I don't think it's fair to the residents of that area to have to say, well, when they get the roundabout finished and all the construction, that y'all will see some changes. The problem with that road is that the speed limit coming from the Honey Creek area and even from the I-20 direction, it's the people guide their speed, and they're flying 55 miles an hour, 60, 70, 80, whatever their speed is. And there's a blind spot there on both sides of the road. What they originally told me was part of it was Rockdale County and the other side was a state road. But what happens is they get speed and they try to run, people will try to turn, make a left turn to either go Miller's Chapel or come into Jempson Way, and the cars hit them. Most of the accidents have been T-boned. So what the neighborhood association is asking, or was asking the Department of Transportation, if you put left turn on green arrow only, they don't have a choice but stop, or, before they turn. But we can't even get that done. That's in my mind, and I'm not a transportation person. I'm in healthcare, but I'm a trauma nurse. And at the end of the day, I don't know that anybody's been killed there, but it's only a matter of time. I sit at the red light and I do not turn. There is a green arrow there, but there's also a green light. So the people that are getting hit are turning on the green light and not waiting for the green arrow. But if we can get something done until that new development is done up the street by I-20, that would help us a lot. We have over 200 homes in our subdivision. And for us, this has been going on for years. Now, I moved to Rockdale County 3 years ago, and I love our area. But that is the most horrifying intersection I've ever lived near. And I don't think it's fair, again, that we have to wait to see what tweaks will occur before this intersection is addressed. So I want to know if there's any support we can get from you guys to work with the Georgia Department of Transportation to even take a look at it to say, yes, we can do something. They gave me a ticket number, and I'm more than happy to email that to you, Ms. Van Ness, or whoever, or Mr. Kelly. so that we can try to get something done. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for taking that initiative to reach out to them. Sometimes because we have so many projects, you know, going on at one time, it is nice when citizens can help us advocate for that change. So thank you again for taking that initiative. But I'm sure Director Kelly will be on that tomorrow, just getting an update because I know that there has been a concern about that area because of just the development in that area commercially. So we'll double check on that and see where it stands. And can you email me so that I have your contact information, please?
Sure. Yes, ma'am, I will.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Thank you.
And we'll have one more question, Madam Chair. This comes from Caroline Simmons. Caroline Simmons, go right ahead.
I wanted to speak to the people who are asking about the entire HOA reform and the issues that they're having. While CAI is more of an industry association, they fought against SB 406. They do have classes and so forth for boards to try and put them in the correct position, but they fought against the law. They did not fight for the law. So there are a number of organizations that did fight for the law, and I would invite anyone who is interested to look into those. Georgia Act is one. The Watch Project with Michael Shepard is another. And then I have an organization, We the Homeowner. We were all down at the Capitol along with the Realtors Association fighting for SB 406. And we will be back, and I invite all of you to come and tell your stories to the legislature come the next session in January. If you're looking for an attorney who speaks to the law as it is written, there is a young lady with Laziga and Johansson. Her name is Jamie Platt Lyons. Probably about 2 weeks ago, they had an education session about SB 406, and she gave a very good explanation. Even though her company works for a lot of the developers and for or with the management companies for the HOAs, she did explain it from a standpoint of how homeowners can access all of that come July 1st and January 1st when the law actually goes into place. But if anybody is ever looking for any help, any of those three organizations are more than willing to help people and put them in a better position. I don't know that I could send somebody to CAI with the way they were against SB 406.
Well, and let me say this about 406. I think that a lot of the HOAs I've spoken to were against the legislation because it meant that the way the fines can be stacked would, I think, currently allow for someone's home to be put into foreclosure. And so there's a lot of moving pieces, and I'm sure you know a lot of the details.
Oh, yeah.
But I certainly would be interested to know why CAI was against the legislation. Sometimes lobbying companies and firms will say it's all or nothing, and there's not a negotiation. It could have been as simple as that. So I don't know. I haven't spoken to them. But anyway, it's definitely look, if you're an HOA in today's world, you need to do your due diligence and check out the facts, understand why, and ask that very question. Because for a lobbying firm, you don't want somebody that's a one-trick pony, as they say. You want somebody that's got experience, they've got connections, they know how to work with the majority party that's probably moving a lot of the legislation. There's a lot of those factors you have to take into consideration when you hire a lobbying firm or work to advocate for change. So what were those other two organizations you mentioned?
It's Georgia Act. That's georgiaact.org.
GeorgiaACT.org.
Correct.
Okay.
And then there's the watchproject.com. .org.
Watch Project.
Yes, the Watch Project, THE.
Okay. All right, I'll put those in the chat.
No problem.
And Janie Lyons is Lyons.
Lyons, yes. Her name is Jamie, Jamie, Platt, Platt, Lyons, and she's with Laziga and Johansson. She did that probably about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and what is the name of the firm?
Laziga, Lazega, and Johansson. Yeah, Lazega, Johanson.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to put those in so people can see it. Hold on 1 second.
And please take time in January, February, March to come down to the Capitol when we fight for some more.
I'd be glad to. So that you know, I used to be in the General Assembly and the State Senate. So yes, so I'm familiar with the process, and I'd be glad to talk to you more about that so that we can make sure that we're ready. You know, if you wait to write until January, you're way behind. So I encourage people to right now, they're still in session, probably still right now as we speak, but getting information to your representatives is so important during the slower parts of the year. And I encourage people from an advocacy standpoint to keep it to one page, to simplify, and make sure you have an attractive subject line that makes them want to open it. So a lot of times when people say, oh, just forward this email and have everybody send it. No, people get desensitized. They're not going to open it and they don't pay attention. So making those connections more personal really does matter and is very, very helpful.
And what I have found is if you send the legislators not an email, send them a video attached to your email and explain your situation to them.
That is true because they don't understand. You never know the person you're speaking with. They could live on 20 acres and never have to deal with the same issues you deal with. And so you're right. The video gets, because I can't, typically a state senator would have 172,000 people in their district. That's what I had. It's probably grown to probably closer to 190. So yeah, definitely getting their attention in those ways makes a difference. Form letters are not good. Even if you just change the subject line, it will get their attention. So
thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Everybody, thank you so much for attending tonight, taking time out of your schedule to join us for this. We'll be doing another one. I believe we're going to shoot for July, August. We would love to be able to have you back for a homeowners association meeting. Don't forget, we do have the Board of Commissioners meeting tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. It'll be live streamed. And then Thursday night, the Board of Commission public hearing. That'll be in the Assembly Hall with overflow in the auditorium. And this Zoom session will be available on the website. We're going to put it up on the YouTube channel as well. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and we'll see you again.
Thank you. So